Welcome to the Swing Set. Climb on up, there's always a swing available. On Life on the Swing Set, the podcast, we explore ethically non-monogamous relationships, the pleasures and passions, the promise and pitfalls. We discuss all aspects of ethical non-monogamy in a fun, open, and welcoming fashion, with a gleam in our eye, a bounce in our step, our hands down your pants. Ooh, sorry, got ahead of myself. We may be biased. In fact, we most certainly are. But we don't sugarcoat, and each of us speaks honestly and earnestly about our thoughts, ideas, and experiences throughout our very own Lives on the Swing Set. Thanks for swinging by.
It feels early to be talking about Life on the Swing Set's next Desire trip, as we've just barely returned from 2015's trip. But talk about it I shall, because we are already 1/3 sold out of Life on the Swing Set's first full resort takeover at Desire. This will be our 5th year at the resort, and our takeover means big things. We will be fully in charge of themes and parties, be running the events, and be providing a geeky, sexy, kinky time with sex toy, pegging, flogging demos, orgies, play parties, and more. All in the sexy, open, and fluid environment you've come to expect from the Swing Set. Swinger, poly, nudist, curious, just want to hang out with awesome open people? The Swing Set Takes Over Desire 2016 is the place to do it. For more information and to put down a deposit, go to ssdesire.com. Again, we are already 1/3 sold out. ssdesire.com. 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 4.
Yes.
I like it when I make Dylan crack up in the intro. It doesn't happen often, but that was a legitimate laugh. That's awesome.
I didn't read this intro.
Sometimes even that's not enough, and you need to go to the full 5 to fisting. Huzzah! Tonight we're joined by the amazing Andre Shakti to talk about fisting, best practices, intensity, and what it's like to have a full hand inside you and put a full hand inside someone else. As listeners may remember, I've only had Alex Morgan's hand up to the knuckles inside me, so I don't know. All that on tonight's Life on the Swing Set, the podcast. I'm Cooper, and tonight I have with me...
Hey everybody, it's Ginger, who's a little short of breath right now.
And that's because I'm Krista Ann.
Oh no, it's all out of order.
And that's because I'm fisting both of them right now as Andre Shakti.
Dylan, did you even get to go?
You know what? Here's the thing.
I think he's
still
holding
working my
the
way.
lube.
I know. I'm happy to facilitate fisting anytime, anywhere.
Well,
It's all
Dylan,
good.
you facilitate the fisting. I'm going to ask our listeners to tweet along as they listen to our episode with hashtag #SSPodcast. And you can find us all on Twitter at Cooper S. Beckett, Ginger N. the Prof, Dylan the Thomas, Pinkness, and Andre Shakti. And if you like what we're doing here and want to help us keep doing it, sign up on our Patreon page to throw us $1 or $10 every time we release an episode, or set a monthly cap at lifeontheswingset.com/support. Welcome back, Andre. We couldn't just do one episode with you because you're too cool.
Aw, thank you guys. And this is the episode. I mean, I love webcamming.
This is what you signed up for.
This is what I signed up for. This is like the meat and potatoes of my existence right here. So I'm pretty excited.
So, do you prefer giving or receiving?
I am an equal opportunity fister.
I wish you could see me, because just as Andre said that, I did the field goal sign, like if I were a referee in the NFL.
You know, the referee field goal sign is really just 2 hands ready for fisting.
They're ready. They're ready.
They're ready. And if you wanted, somebody could come by in doctor fashion and slide rubber gloves on each of them.
Right on.
Dylan's got the lube.
Dylan's got lube ready, yeah.
I mean, are you guys all in Chicago? I could probably be there in like 6 hours.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
Well,
Enough of
2
us
of us are in Chicago,
Yeah, I was gonna
so
say,
we can at least get that going for you.
And we've been known to throw parties
Dylan,
at a
would
drop
you
of a hat.
accept a fist?
I would accept an attempt at a fist. Yes.
Okay, so Andre,
I've
you've
always
got
said,
the two boys of the swing set ready to take your hand in the ass if you come.
I only have two hands, so it's gonna have to be. I mean, are you guys comfortable like being side by side while that happens?
Oh yeah, Dylan's gonna, his 98% hetero thing will allow for next to.
Yeah,
got it. You're like a 5.8 on the Kinsey scale.
I tried so hard to move that needle, and it just wouldn't budge.
I feel for you.
That's fine, Dylan, because like I'm going to teleport through space and time and knock you out of the place because I am a fisting virgin.
Oh,
that sounds like a challenge.
Yes, so I can think of no better way to be broken in.
Oh, I love it.
Well, okay, so I am an attempt. I am a fisty attemptee.
How about you, Dylan?
I have successfully fisted one person.
No, I mean I'm receiving.
I have not successfully had a fist inside me. No.
Jen?
I go both ways.
Oh wait, no, I lied. It happened once. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
How did you forget? The fact that it was forgettable means
she's born again.
Oh yeah. Is that the excuse you use for like everything she says? Like, did she just like say or do she like drink some water and you turn to everybody? You're like, she's born again. Like, oh okay. She's not baptizing herself. She's just drinking water. It's fine. Well, so how was it when you did it the one time? How did it go?
Okay, so the one time that I was fisted was by my best friend who has the tiniest hands in the history of humanity.
It's a good friend.
She is a good friend. And we did it on a dare for, I believe we made $13.67.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait,
how did you monetize
it?
Yeah, how old were you? How did you monetize it? Like, what kind of marketing
did you accept PayPal?
I did accept PayPal, though. No, I think that was all that our partners at the time had in their pockets. There was some alcohol involved in that.
So you literally did fisting for pocket change.
Yeah, well, I was.
Did you grow up in New Jersey like me?
No, I grew up in Wisconsin, but I was also working as a magician's assistant and a sword swallower. So I was used to working for pocket change
and making things disappear.
Yeah, how do you guys talk to her without having everything be a double entendre? I would just like be going to town now.
It's our favorite thing about it. Okay, so we've got some fisting experience. We've got some fisting expertise. So let's start simple. I want to know what lube practices are best for attempting fisting.
Sure. So I would say if you already have a favorite lube, to start with that one and see if it works for you. Obviously, like we're kind of assuming lube basics here, where like you're not using basically anything that you pull off of a pharmacy shelf. You're checking your water-based lubes, making sure that they're glycerin-free. You're looking at your silicone lubes, and there's not much diversity in silicone lubes, but you're definitely never picking up the temperature stuff that makes your junk hotter or colder or tingly. Oh. And if we're all good on those fronts, then I would recommend either a kind of lube called Sassy that's made by a company called Sliquid as a water-based lube. It's marketed kind of as an anal lube because it's water-based, but it's thicker than most water-based lubes, which means the lubrication is better and lasts a little bit longer. And for silicone, I'm a Swiss Navy fan, though. Oh. Silicone lubes, again, have very, very little diversity once they're in the bottle.
When the more gel, the thicker based lubes, I, as a pegging enthusiast, I prefer the gel lubes for the anal play. So I imagine that it's the same thing. It's the cushion of the extra lube that sort of increases cushion. I got nothing.
Well, you know, some people with fisting, it depends on what you're into. Like some folks really don't like what I refer to as drag. So, for example, I am fluid bonded with my partners, but if I'm fisting anybody who's not a fluid bonded or tested partner of mine, I'm using nitrile gloves when I'm fisting, and people report a variety of sensations with gloves versus no gloves, with more lube versus less lube. Some people are like, oh, I can't do gloves because there's this drag when you're going in and out that just it feels rubbery and it doesn't feel good. And some people are like, oh, I can't take a lot of silicone lube because I find that there's a lot of friction and the friction heats the silicone lube and makes it uncomfortable for me. So I really feel like the only way you're going to figure out what's good for you is to line up a bunch of possibilities that are body safe and then just experiment with them.
Oh, see, I was thinking a whole bunch of people in a row and you just
too.
move, or you are stationary and they move down.
So
yeah.
I've got to say this. Like, I'm all about us deconstructing the lube choices because this is important stuff if you're fisting people. I want to back up just a little bit, maybe. And I'd love
right
to
into
hear
a
the
fist.
Yeah.
Maybe. Right into the question.
Yes.
Why fisting?
See, this is why Ginger is a much better host than Cooper.
Well, I like that we're really going to get into the salesmanship of fisting. And while I have ideas, I am not the expert on the matter. And so everything that happened in my mind...
What can I do to put you into this fist? What can I do right now? We're just going to sit down at this desk until you're ready to get into this fist, Dylan.
Well, first you're going to have to offer Dylan tickets to Penn and Teller and at least one or two buffets.
Maybe. And the rust coating. Maybe.
Boy, that true coat.
The true coat. Yep. Maybe some, what is it that the waterproof stuff that I'm going to put on your seats? Yeah. You get my drift.
Krylon.
I'm not trying to sell you a used car. I'm trying to understand.
I want you to put waterproof stuff on Dylan's seat before he gets fisted.
Yeah, I'm going to say...
I'm going to step in as the babysitter because remember, you guys are your parents are paying me $10 an hour to have this
Thank
conversation,
you, Andre.
and my boyfriend's waiting upstairs.
This is the part where
So we're going to bed early,
Dylan. Dylan.
No dessert.
He shows up as the adult in the moment. I will hush.
So why fisting, right? So why fisting? Oh, there's so many answers to this. Practically speaking, why fisting? Because your hands are attached to your body and are the most like financially accessible sex toys that you have access to, you know, aside from your mouth and your genitals, right? So why not use them? They're
very true.
They're totally underutilized and totally free. Also, I love the idea of kind of rewriting the script on hand sex as foreplay, because so often we see things like fingering or finger banging as foreplay, right? There's kind of this script that even when we get out of like heterosexual structures, we still tend to deviate towards where there's making out and then there's like boob touching and then there's like some third base like fingering, fondling, and then the sex happens.
Yeah.
And
that happens in the swing community too. It's not just porn.
Yeah, I figured you guys would know, you know, what I was talking about.
We're with you.
But I love the idea of being like, wait a minute, you know, yes, even as like open-minded people, even as non-monogamous people, even as queer people, we have to like actively work to like get the idea that sex is only like PV, like penis, vagina, like penetration, with genitals, and appreciate sex as like this whole, like, almost look at it holistically, where it could basically be anything you want it to be. And hand sex is very much sex and is very much a fucking rockin' good time. And And yeah, so I love those two things. I'm also a size queen, and I'm just going to be honest. Nothing was ever big enough. Nothing ever fits the way a hand fits for me as a receiver. So the first time my first girlfriend fisted me when I was 19, like that was it for me. Like I had hands and a Hitachi, and I was ready to take over the world. Like that was all I needed.
You know, I just want to say I felt you at the front of a room, kind of emoting with your arms as you talked and really explaining all this. And yes to all that. Really, yes.
1,000 times yes. Dylan is saying yes.
I teach classes on fisting all the time. It's one of like my favorite things to talk about.
We need to get you to Chicago to teach a class on.
I've never been. Just give me an excuse.
Give me enough time to get there.
So, I mean, that can't be the only questions you guys have about fisting.
So I actually have a question. Given
Yes, you in the back.
Yay! I'm raising my hand, my fist, really.
Yes.
So can one accidentally stumble into fisting?
Totally.
Okay, so I'd love to talk about that because I'm very much into the experience and the pleasure and the exploration of lesbian sex, in the sense that when I hear you say size queen, a lot of people, I'll just say it for the swingers in the world who are listening to our podcast, we have a lot of swing setters who will look you in the face and say, a fist? Are you kidding me? Like, never. No way. Absolutely not. So I feel like we're amidst company who might say, a fist? Sure. Let's figure it out. We'll find the lube. We'll make it happen. We'll understand why it's pleasurable. We'll have a person who is comfortable and confident in doing that to me. But there's a lot of listeners, a lot of swing setters out in the world who are like, that is so far from my experience. I don't know why I'd ever bother to even consider that. So I'd love to like walk that back to what that means in terms of exploration, not necessarily with the goal of I'm going to put my entire hand inside of someone, because that is a beautiful thing and intimate and beautifully, it's an overwhelming experience.
Yeah, I mean, something that you just said like really resonated with me. Like another one of the reasons that I love fisting is because as a queer person, as a person who's like, you know, female assigned at birth, still identifies as female, have a vagina, I did not come naturally equipped with a sex organ that I can place into another person. And when people who have penises have sex, I doubt that very few of them stop to like consider how incredibly erotic and overwhelmingly so it is to have like a whole piece of your body inserted into another person. I mean, that whole idea was almost fetishized for me as a queer person for whom that was and will always be unattainable. And so when I discovered fisting, I was like, holy shit. Like, first of all, the tips of your fingers have more nerve endings than anything else in your body, right? And you're putting this whole part of your body, the part with the most nerve endings, inside another person. I mean, like, the fact that people's bodies can accommodate a fist aside, which in itself is amazing because bodies are amazing, that is so hot to me. Like, that is so, like, psychologically hot to me as a receiver, as a provider of fisting. Yeah, I've never been able to, and I hope I never do, get over just how novel that will always be, no matter how many times I do it, because I was born without a penis. So how else would I know? You know?
Fuck yeah.
But I hear you in terms of like, different communities, you know, seeing fisting as more feasible or accessible to them than than other communities who have been maybe like, I don't know, culturally prepped to approach fisting with like a more open mind. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's maybe accidentally happened to a lot of people who like don't know what to call it. You know, like they're like, what's like my whole hand's in there. Do you want me to keep going? And like not really know that it's actually a thing that people do intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, and it has a lot to do with hand size too. You know, people, again, like, let's look at like heterosexual models, like women who are approached with fisting who have, you know, cis male partners are probably looking at their partner's giant knuckly man hands and thinking, there's no fucking way that's going anywhere near any of my holes, right? But when you look at, you know, a pair of like smaller hands or more petite hands or female hands or, you know, trans hands, you look at hand sizes and you're like, well, wait a minute, that person's actually, that's not much bigger than that toy I use. Mm-hmm. You know, so a lot of it has to do with hand size too.
Well, we have a friend who he likes to open play parties at the Welcome Circle by mentioning he really likes fisting, and he holds his hands up to show that he could probably fit it inside you. And he gets a lot of very, intrigued notions from other play party guests.
And is he's doing this saying that like, look, his hands are small and they can fit inside
I can put my hands inside you, yeah. And it's not scary. You know,
it's not scary.
Basically, I think that's his sales pitch. I can put my hands inside you and it's not scary.
And it works.
I've seen it.
Well, I also think like there's that old joke that can be like worked around a million times. The one variation that I prefer is why do dominatrixes always lose at a fist fight? And then you take your hands and clench them into little duck bills where you bring the tips of your fingers all together and you say, because they punch like this. And that's actually a fisting hand, right? And people who are unfamiliar with fisting, they hear the word fisting and automatically they think of punch fucking.
Well, they think of Malcolm McDowell as Caligula, I think.
Which is a thing, you know, punch fucking is a thing, like that extreme, like fisting, the act of like bringing a closed fist in and out of somebody's orifice is totally a thing that some people are into and have like the physical capability to do. But that is not what we're talking about generally. Yeah. What we're talking about fisting.
Well, it makes me smile. What you were saying, Coop, is I've actually had that experience where a lover says, I have beginner's hands. I'm like, bring it.
And see, I think that's an excellent way to take something that maybe you were even uncomfortable with at some point and say, hey, by the way, look how awesome I am for this thing. It's like the men who like to say, I have a cock built for anal.
Yes, it's all about marketing, guys.
It is all about marketing.
It's all about marketing.
That's awesome.
I dated a guy, one of the last guys that I'm totally gonna give him like an inadvertent shout out here, but one of the last guys that I fucked, cis men that I fucked before I like went full queer. Full queer. Fucked like a lesbian. He fucked like a woman. He had we had this great conversation in bed. I remember because I'm someone who has larger inner labia. And so I remember him being like, oh, like, has anyone ever, in this like very pure, like intrigued way, was like, has anyone ever given you like shit about your labia, essentially? And I was like, no one's ever given me shit about my labia. And then he talked about his own like general insecurities, but like, boy, did he know how to use his fucking hands. Like, let me tell you, I don't even remember what his dick looked like. That's like the sex was done, and I couldn't even tell you. So yeah, it's all about, you know, knowing your strengths and like owning your strengths and owning your weaknesses and like getting out in front of your fears and insecurities before someone has a chance to use them against you, you know?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I have that question that, again, knowing our swing setter audience, why would someone open themselves as a receiver to that experience? And why would someone open themselves to the experience of being the giver, of being someone who's fisting or being fisted? Like what is, and Andre, you gave voice to that a little bit about being able to put an entire part of your body into another human, which I think, again, is a very intimate, very trusting, a very erotic experience. But for someone who is feeling like they're in this space of, I have a pretty awesome sexual repertoire, why do I need to go to this place? Is there something special? Is there something awesome? Is there something unique about that experience that someone, even if they don't attain that, even if they don't get there, that is something to think about in terms of fisting?
Yeah, I mean, when people are kind of trying to debate, in my experience, whether or not this is something they want to try, usually a few different categories of folks keep coming up. Number one are people, and I'm speaking to vaginal fisting as well as anal fisting, people who want, who are into objectification. So they're into the idea of like being used during sex, and like somebody like having control like over their orifices and like stretching them out and like using them to their to their will. And that's like a very like kinky way. So people who are interested like in power play.
I like how excited Ginger got.
Sorry.
Me too.
I was not leading the witness, I swear.
So that's like the kinkiest kind of element. And then there's folks who are just sex queens like me who know already that they enjoy receiving large objects, usually toys, because, at some point we can't find dicks large enough to satisfy us in their orifices, and they're kind of looking for the next big thing. God, that was so unintentional.
Well done. No,
but it was beautiful.
Accidentally amazing.
It was beautiful.
So there are those folks who are just, they already know that they love the sensation of fullness, of like feeling like they're full and they're like being stretched and like, they're, just the fullness of it. And then there are G-spotters, folks who are really into, G-spot play and indirect prostate stimulation or direct prostate stimulation. Folks who have G-spots who are squirters, who can, quote unquote, female ejaculate. Lots of times fisting because of the intense pressure it provides internally, particularly on the G-spot, especially like if your knuckles are oriented a certain way, is a precursor to female ejaculation. And so folks who are like into squirting or into G-spotting oftentimes really enjoy fisting, from that perspective. So all of these are reasons, if you've ever, been intrigued by any of those areas, to try fisting.
Krista's just sitting over here writing notes.
I love it. I taught a class on a flirting class in Baltimore last week, and I had somebody write me an email afterwards that had this like really lovely quote in it, and it said, "You may be amused that my therapist asked me how the class went. After my answer, she asked for your contact info, and she has several patients who would benefit from your class."
Wow.
I just thought it was great. So I'm seeing like someone just scribbling little notes in the corner.
Very, very accurate. I know Krista's just sitting over here taking notes. Like this is all ringing very true. And I need a new partner with smaller hands. Stat. Cause I love my life partner and they are a wonderful human being. And hung is all get out, but the hands are just a little too much. Yeah, so, notes.
Krista needs...
I'll signal boost that for you if you put it on.
We can probably make that happen.
Please do.
As a matter of fact, somebody I just introduced you to, Krista, has been bragging to me about how tiny her hands are.
Well, isn't that
just saying, and she lives fairly nearby. I'm just saying.
I will not derail the podcast right now, but you and I will talk about this later. But yeah, no, signal boost, because I've had a really low level of lovers for the last couple of years because, oh my God, stress. And I would like that to increase because I can come again.
Woohoo!
Result.
Yes.
I'll tell you that as somebody that has been looking to fisting as something they'd like to get better at and something they'd like to approach more, there's kind of a level of intimacy that I think it's had with me when I've attempted it with people, not just because I'm fairly new to it. I mean,
putting your hand inside someone. I mean, that is a level of intimacy.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, I know I've listened to enough people, and with all the notes that I'm taking tonight, I will become a little bit more educated on it. But it's not like I haven't looked into and witnessed quite a bit of fisting. But doing it yourself is something very different, and so it's an intimate thing for me because I am being very slow and deliberate, and I'm paying a lot of attention to everything that's going on everywhere, and it's happening, and it brings me into the more innuendo. It brings me closer into it brings me into the person more because I'm paying so much attention. So I really enjoy it.
That wasn't as good as mine, but
no, it's no contest. But he's pretty good himself. You're also probably better at fisting than him, so it's okay.
I would say that's probably 100% true.
I'm speaking for Dylan here. He looks at this as a way to get better, and so his innuendos will only improve by being surrounded by innuendo
experts. Yes,
experts. Bring in innuendo experts. I would love to know.
Introduce you to my ex, then. They can sling a pun like nobody's business.
I would love to know about anal fisting, because as that is the orifice that I have, and
it's the orifice of choice.
Having gotten so close, and not gotten there, what advice can you give me besides perhaps smaller hands or more time or more warm up? Or is that really it? Have I given all my advice?
Well, first I would tell you, make sure you're using like a superior lube. So for you, I would definitely, for anal, I almost always use silicone just because it's slicker, it lasts longer. I also use lube shooters, which are like those little like plastic syringes that you like literally stick in someone's butt and like insert some lube in there ahead of time, so you don't have to like keep working the lube in. So I'll do that. Lots and lots of warm up. A lot of guys, I feel like their fantasy, because where I mostly see anal fisting in my life is in sex work as a pro dom. I get a lot of strap on clients, a lot of clients who want to try fisting for the first time. Definitely not something to try on your lunch break. Definitely want to give it like 2 or 3 hour window to try anal fisting. A lot of guys, the fantasy is them being on all fours. Like when they have like a specific fantasy in mind, more often than not, it's of them like being on all fours, like being like pegged by a woman or fisted by a woman that way. And a lot of times, the body, the anus relaxes a lot more if people are on their backs with their legs up.
Well, that is my preferred pegging position.
Awesome.
So that's good.
You're already a step
I'm
ahead.
halfway there.
Halfway, totally. 50%. And then, I mean, it's just a combination of like, again, going really slow, lots of lube, trying to like make sure there's a lot of communication between you and the partner that you're doing it with. I would recommend not trying anything new sexually for the first time while you're inebriated, just especially with the ass, because the tissues are so thin, like there's so much opportunity for disaster there that you want to make sure that you're feeling everything like genuinely and you're not, 5 shots of whiskey in trying this for the first time.
Yeah.
I also recommend against poppers. I know a lot of people are really into, a lot of men in particular, when prepping for anal play or anal fisting, like to take poppers to relax them and open them up. I I would not ever recommend that. I would not ever recommend things like numbing gels or like anything that people use so they can take objects of larger sizes. Because again, it just means that you won't be able to feel the bad pain if it happens.
And you'll feel the good pain less.
You may feel the good pain less, but then when you get that hand inside of you, you know it's possible. So then you can yeah. Anyway, so those would be like my setups, all obviously having somebody who has hands on the smaller side, especially for like the introductory fistings, is always going to be a good idea. People have different opinions about cleaning out before anal sex in general. Cleaning out certainly does not have any effect on how much size you can take in your ass. Purely personal preference. I would just let people know that enemas are awesome, and as long as you dump the saline solution out and use room temperature water, you'll be good to go to enema to your heart's desire. But that if poop happens, and it will happen, it's okay.
Poop does happen.
It's okay. Like, put a bunch of towels down. Like, put some dark towels down. Put a black nitrile glove on if you want. Like, blindfold your bottom if they're self-conscious. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Blindfold the top, really.
Yeah, but no, don't blindfold the person who's putting their hand inside of you. Yeah. That's like giving someone a sword for a sword fight and saying, I'm just going to tie this handkerchief around your eyes.
We're going to do it blind.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what happens when you have a breakup, right? Everyone's like, it just takes time. And you're like, I fucking don't want to hear that anymore. But it's true. It's so annoying. It's true.
Now, would you say that there is definitely a possibility that body cannot take fisting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you are doing all the things, taking all the time, using all the lube, you're engaging in foreplay activities where you're already aroused, you're already relaxed, you're with somebody you trust. If all the stars are aligning and it still is not happening for you after, a few attempts, you have to be kind to yourself. Like, bodies are amazing and they are capable of incredible things. But some people, whether we're talking about vaginal fisting or anal fisting, some people are just never going to be able to take a hand. Like, I have,
sure.
For me personally, I primarily date trans men, and a lot of trans men, because of a combination of hormones and oftentimes a desire to not be penetrated very often during their sexual encounters, pre-op trans men, they're very tight. Most of my partners prefer to take like maybe one or two fingers, if that. And I know that I will never be able to get a hand into some people that I fuck. Like, you just know. Some people you're like finger fucking them and you're like, oh, there's some room there. Oh, they're getting more turned on. There's some more room there. And it's like, there's potential. Some people just don't have that potential, and that's totally fine. That's totally, totally okay. You don't want to push anything to the point of injury. Certainly, if it's not going to work for your body.
Well, and I'm so glad that you gave voice to that, Andre, because one of the things that I feel we talk about on the podcast and is an important piece of the puzzle is none of this is goal oriented. Like, you don't earn a medal if you've been fisted or have fisted someone. No,
I was going to say, like,
Coop,
I will fucking award a medal for that.
Dylan, none of you guys, like, there are no certificates. There are no medals.
Okay.
No. I'm
bet
just saying. No.
Someone would print out a certificate for me.
They might, but it's not where we're going right now. Okay. What I'm saying is,
sorry, Ginger, be the grown up. I understand.
I'm going to be the grown up all of a sudden.
But
Dylan had something.
The babysitting Ginger.
It's very ill-advised, Andre, but I'll take it on. But I will say this, that, fisting is not some sort of trophy you put on your mantle. I just did this awesome sexual thing, and so I win. It's very much in my mind and how I see it as about an individual erotic, emotional, or sexual connection with someone. And it fits and it feels right and it's awesome. And so it's not about earning something. It's about being in that space of connection and in that space of, this is something I'm open to. This is something I'm interested in. And oh, look at that. All the pieces fit together versus I am going to make this happen, come hell or high water. I want to be fisted, because I feel like there's a part of this that this is a varsity level move, and going to that space of recognizing that there are a lot of variables that need to fall into place. And if they don't fall into place with your partner, whomever that is, that's okay. That's perfectly okay. And yet, if it's still something that you're seeking, you might see how you might align those variables. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay too. And so I don't ever want to put this out as some sort of goal or some sort of holy grail to seek if you're a sexual adventurer. It's really about just being there with your partner and being able to receive or give in a way that is very connected and very very just sensitive. There's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I definitely tell everybody whenever I start teaching class on fisting, I preface it by saying that they are in a 401 level sexuality class. Like, this is not oral sex 101. This is not, finger banging. This is not flirting. This is not, like exciting new G-spot tricks. Fisting is a 401 level sexual activity. And I feel that as though if you haven't been able to move away from a goal-oriented approach to sex, just taking orgasm into account, then you shouldn't be trying anything extreme like fisting. Because if you're still looking at sex as sex is only sex if orgasms are involved, or, sex only means anything, the only reason I would ever want to be physically intimate with my partner is to achieve orgasm, or if my partner hasn't had an orgasm, I failed personally and I'm going to now internalize that. If you're still kind of operating on any of those insecurity levels actively, I wouldn't suggest trying something like fisting, because our egos tend to come into play in really random, interesting ways. And the last way you want your ego to come into play is by you trying to force a large object into your partner's birth canal or anus, and risk potentially hurting them, because otherwise you don't want to face the disappointment or perceived disappointment that would come with not being able to achieve this thing. So I would say, like, again, unless people are already in a really comfortable place with working from a less expectation, goal-oriented approach to sex, to maybe focus on that for a while in their current sex lives before trying something like fisting.
Do the emotional fisting first.
Yes. Do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work.
Do the work.
Oh, wow.
I love
I'm going to hold on to emotional fisting forever.
Yes, I am
I
too.
expect a definition of emotional fisting in my email inbox within 24 hours.
Oh, I'm sure Jin's already got one. We'll just give it-
Oh boy. Oh boy. That is wow. Seriously though, I no joke, that's a real deal. Like, absolutely. Like, go there first. What wise words.
Well, and that's one of those big things. That's why, the emotional fisting thing is funny, but it's also, it's a big thing for you to deal with. The taking the expectations out of sex is probably the hardest thing I have had to deal with overall in my sex life. And the most rewarding thing to have achieved.
Mm.
Totally emotional fisting.
I love all of you.
I love fisting.
So Andre, I often go to swinger clubs and do all sorts of shit that people at swinger clubs think is kind of crazy, and they sometimes cringe at, sometimes get really interested in and ask a lot of questions. One of those things is not fisting. However, I have a lot of friends that do that and would like to do that, and so I would love to find a way to introduce this thing to them, knowing that I need to kind of step them up to it a little bit and maybe do a little bit of, yes, sexy and fun exposition, but a little bit of work into getting there, because there are a lot of people that aren't used to that kind of thing, because we as swingers are largely a little more less we haven't delved so far into that stuff, and so yeah, I'm curious how you would introduce that to that kind of crowd.
That's a really awesome question, because for clarification, for people who are listening who don't know me, I am non-monogamous. I've been non-monogamous for ethically for almost 8 years now. Identify as poly. That being said, I kind of went from like my evolution of identity was like heterosexual to queer to non-monogamous. So the swinger community, which I as I understand it, is predominantly, they're not exclusively heterosexual. I haven't had a whole lot of experience with them, except they seem to be a very popular demographic that come to my classes. So from that, I can deduce that they are very curious. And I guess the advice that I would give is that people are pack animals, and they are very concerned, even in the most progressive of alternative sub-communities. They are very concerned with what other people think and other people's opinions of whatever thing they are considering or being exposed to. And so I feel like if you approach anything with the right amount of enthusiasm and knowledge and kind of like blasé-ness, if you approach something as like totally normal and like regular and awesome and something that people do all the time and that you're like really confident and comfortable with, get there first with fisting and then introduce it to your friends, and people are going to basically look at you and say, oh, well, this guy like is totally into this, and he's obviously done this so many times before, and oh, look, he's inviting us to come watch a demo where he fists his partner in the corner. Like, maybe we can go like check it out and, you know, watch it happen, and maybe we can like let them have their scene, but afterwards ask them some questions, be allowed to ask both of them some questions about how that was for them, you know, and then continue having conversations about it. I feel like doing the work now that it's in my repertoire here, like doing the work yourself, like first, like getting into fisting, finding a receptive partner, like getting really comfortable with it, then having conversations with your friends about it, then like inviting your friends to maybe watch you demo a fisting, have a scene with your partner at a sex party, and inviting them to ask questions afterwards. I feel like that is maybe the best route to go. But this is as someone who has existed exclusively on the outside of the formal like swinger scene.
No, that is the best way to speak to the swingers. It is a group that is intensely curious.
Yeah, I've been trying very hard to queer up the swing scene for a long time, as much as I am not queer.
You're doing the good work.
I'm trying.
So, Andre, we'd love to hear where our listeners can find you on the online spectrum in the world. Where can they find you?
So, as you already mentioned, I'm on Twitter at Andre Shakti. That's Andre like the giant, not Andrea or Andrea. I'm also on Facebook as Andre Shakti. I have a website, andreshakti.xxx.com, which has an amazing intro video, but primarily serves as a calendar of events for my upcoming classes and panels I'm facilitating and performances. And if you are in San Francisco on February 6th, which is a Saturday, the night before Super Bowl 50 here in California, please come check out a live stage show with myself and hottie with a body, Daisy Ducati, at Little Darlings in San Francisco in North Beach. We're doing a live stage sex show all night. It's going to be a crazy good time, sports fans.
And hopefully very soon we'll be able to say, come see Andre Shakti in the city of Chicago.
I don't do enough feature dancing. That's something, as someone who went from stripping to porn, you would think it'd be something that I do a lot of, but I should start incorporating that into my tours. Any excuse to come to Chicago.
Yes, any excuse.
I'm all yours.
Oh my. Oh my. I'm a little flustered. Well, thank you for joining us for 2 episodes. It has been delightful to have you. And we hope you will come back to the swing set again very soon.
I would love to. You guys are wonderful. Thanks so much for having me.
You have a great night.
You too.
Thank you, Andre.
We at the Swing Set believe that being risk-aware and practicing safer sex makes our lifestyle exponentially better. With that in mind, we're partnering with Lucky Bloke, global condom experts and the best online source for condoms and lube, to say no to mediocre condoms and bring the most pleasurable, safer sex directly to our listeners. Go to swingsetcondoms.com to see a specially curated selection of condoms, lubes, and assortments to reintroduce variety and excitement into the protection portion of your playtime. You should especially take note of the deluxe sampler put together by us at the Swing Set for your party and date night kit. Making your condom purchase here supports both us at the Swing Set and the wonderful purveyors of safer sex, the Lucky Bloke. swingsetcondoms.com.
When it comes to online dating, we here at the Swing Set believe that Cassidy is the best one out there. It looks great, it's intuitive and easy to use, and it's simply full of potential sexy friends. Still the fastest growing online swinger dating site in the world, Cassidy has been our go-to site for the last 3 years. If you sign up using our link at lifeontheswingset.com/KASIDIE, you'll get some free time to explore the site. And you can decide for yourself if Cassidy is the site for you. Hope to see you there at Cassidy.com. Should I say that it'll be right after the outro? Yeah, that works. Okay.
Wait, no.
What?
I was thinking about the flow of the show. Okay. So we just said goodbye to Andre. Flow of the show. We just said goodbye to Andre, and let's just say that you couldn't think of any better way to end the podcast. End a wonderful podcast.
Oh yeah, good.
Andre Shakti about fisting with this, and then do that, and then we'll record an outro.
Should I have you introduce the song, because you can't handle sticky biscuits? I remember.
No, you got this, Coop. You got this.
No, now that I've said that, I'm gonna fuck it up.
Are you one of the millions of people who think monogamy isn't a good fit? If you're polyamorous, in an open relationship, a swinger, or curious, InfinityCon is for you. InfinityCon is a sex-positive educational conference covering a wide range of topics on ethical non-monogamy and alternative sexuality. Come for the education, stay for the great social events, including Saturday night's Black Tie Poly Prom. InfinityCon is February 4th through 7th, 2016 in Atlanta. Visit infinitycon.net for tickets and hotel reservations.
Hey all, Cooper here to tell you the exciting news that my best-selling book, My Life on the Swing Set, Adventures in Swinging and Polyamory, is now available on Audible. As you may know, if you sign up for Audible now, you can get your first month and first audiobook free. So why not make it mine? Go to audible.mylotss.com and get 8 hours of newly produced audio content now. If you crave other methods of book consumption, you can purchase the DRM-free ebook or paperback, as well as the audiobook direct from me at mylifeontheswingset.com. You know you'd rather hear than read about my epic prostate orgasm. Why not do it now? Well, we couldn't think of any better way to bring our fisting show to a close than with a reprise of the amazing song Sock Puppet by Sticky Biscuits.
We were on another date. It was getting rather late. I brought you to your door like so many nights before. But as you turned to say goodbye, I thought I'd give it one more try. And I leaned over and I whispered in your ear, my dear, would you like to be my sock puppet? Show me your cunt and let me fist fuck it. Would you let me linger with my palm and all my fingers so deep inside of you? But that's not what you will let me do. You wouldn't be my sock puppet. You told me to buzz off and go shove it. So I went home all alone, feeling quite forlorn, and stayed up watching porn. Then a few weeks later, you invited me for tea. We sat there quite politely with your extended family. You never told me that your grandma looked like Helen Mirren. I felt something steering, and since you had said no, I thought I'd go and give it a go. Can you guess what I did?
Well done, Coop.
Good job, buddy.
Would you like to be my sock puppet? Would you like to feel my hand up it? Even though you're old and wrinkly, I could make your eyes all twinkly if you just let me try. And they say to try it once before you die. Be my sock puppet, like I'm Jim Henson and you're the Muppet. Would you let me slide my hand deep inside? 'Cause that's where I like to hide my keys and my wallet and my phone. Be my sock puppet. I'm pretty sure that you'd love it. And now she can't get enough of fitting me like a glove. My love.
I wanted
That
to
was
laugh
Sock
really hard.
Pucket by Sock Pucket. That was it. You got stuck on Sock Pucket.
It was beautiful. It was so great.
And I know how it is because
And he
once
was
you
so
get into that
earnest.
groove, yeah, he was
Aislinn
totally
Immersian.
like
Immersian.
radio guy.
He was so earnest.
Aislinn Immersian was the most difficult thing I have ever had to say on this podcast.
5 full minutes dedicated just to saying her name.
Stock Pucket.
Right,
Oh my
You
God.
also said Sticky Wicket, I think, at one point.
I gotta say that there's nothing better than that. And Aislinn Immersian, I gotta give you, like, true story, you just have to sit there and stare at it for a while and then wonder
No,
and then hope
it
to
made it
God
worse.
But Sticky Biscuits is one of those that will just, no matter how hard you try, these are words that we all say, sticky and biscuits.
Sock Puppet and Sticky, really, that's the combo. That's the problem.
See, Krista, all this stuff is going into the episode. All of it. Not a wasted bit.
We apologize to Sticky Biscuits. We apologize to Aislinn Immersian. I have learned to say her name so that when I met her in person, I wouldn't make even bigger a fool of myself.
Well, it's like fisting. You have to really be careful and slow and deliberate and practice a lot.
It's just like fisting.
As she
It's just like
is also a member of the fisting enthusiast world, she would appreciate that.
It's just like fisting.
Hashtag just like fisting. Let's use that, listeners. Okay. And while we do that, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/theswingset. Check out this podcast, daily blogs, articles, and toy reviews on our website at lifeontheswingset.com and on our site's Twitter feed at ontheswingset. Email us at contact@lifeontheswingset.com. Email us at... Oh,
Figus
boy.
Fitus.
Indeed.
Email us at contact@lifeontheswingset.com, or you can give us a call or send us a voicemail at 573-55... Wait, that's not right. You can give us a call.
Dylan, it's in front of you. It's numbers.
No, I said you can give us a call or, and I meant you give us a call and. So you can give us a call or send us a voicemail. Damn it. You can give us a call and send us a voicemail
That's
at
so easy,
573-55-SWING. That's 573-557-9464. If you have an episode idea for us, please share. Email us at episodes@lifeontheswingset.com. Whoa!
I know. It's tough.
Email us.
It's all the fucking at Life on this. Why couldn't we have come up with a shorter fucking name?
Swingset.fm.
Yeah, but then everyone's typing swingsetfm.com.
If you have an episode idea for us, please share. Email episodes@lifeontheswingset.com with the episode idea in the subject line. Don't forget to buy your condoms from the Lucky Bloke at swingsetcondoms.com. And you can find our other great podcasts like the Gentle Pervert Social Club, Intellectual Foreplay, The Kinky Geeks, Eat the Root... Shit. And you can find our other great podcasts.
And now,
like
just
Gentle Pervert
imagine,
Social
Dylan,
Club.
you interrupting yourself this entire time.
And you can find our other great podcasts like the Gentle Pervert Social Club, Intellectual Foreplay, The Kinky Geeks, Eat the Rootcast, a damn good podcast about Twin Peaks, Sex at a Go-Go, and the Tell Me Something Good podcast at swingset.fm. And finally, you can buy Cooper's book, My Life on the Swing Set, Adventures in Swinging and Polyamory as an ebook, paperback, or audiobook at mylifeontheswingset.com, and pre-order his novel, A Life Less Monogamous, and save 25% on the ebook or paperback at alifelessmonogamous.com.
And I think that's almost done because this should be out first week in February, and the book comes out second week in February.
Woo!
Exciting. Thank you,
I'm proud
Dylan,
of
for
you.
demonstrating how difficult that actually is. I really do appreciate that.
That was intense.
It was. And it is.
I mean, I've done it before too, but once you get all the pressure buildup of
I know.
having to get it right,
Nothing makes it
stacks
worse
on
than
itself.
feeling the pressure to actually not fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, saying all that stuff feels natural when you're doing it with no pressure. So, and doing the podcast isn't any pressure.
Like
it's just that we
fisting.
fucked it up. Like, exactly, just
like fisting.
It all comes back to fisting.
It all comes back to...
Thanks for swinging by.
Do you know what I know? Do we know what we share?
Have a sexy business? Love the swing set? Let's put these two great things together. The Swing Set Network has advertising and sponsorship packages available for our websites and podcasts. Email advertising at lifeontheswingset.com for more information. Thanks.
I just tweeted, if you wonder, that's me cracking up in the tornado bracing position during the entire episode 238 outro. And then I hashtagged it just like fisting. Because how can you not, really?
How can you not? Okay.
How can you not?
All right, I'm hitting stop.
This is Aislinn Amerzian, co-author of The Ultimate Guide to Prostate Pleasure. You're listening to a Swing Set podcast at Swingset FM.